everyone, and welcome to another Transformers review with me, Exium Ferris. And to borrow a quote from my favourite film, we got one! Yes, I finally have a Earthrise Soundwave figure, and I am ecstatic. I have to give out a massive thank you to our very own Optimus Prime for picking this up for me. I have been trying to get hold of one of these for about 2 months now. I even ordered a couple where my sister lives to see if she could pick one up for me, but sadly she became ill and she couldn't get one. And I finally managed to order one for Leicester, which is far but near enough that I was willing to travel. And that was the day before we entered our third lockdown, so I couldn't go and pick it up. And then Optimus Prime just posted a picture on our group and said he'd picked one up for me. So again, thank you so much for getting this for me, Odd. I really appreciate it. I really do. With that aside, let's take a look at the box. So as you can see, he is Soundwave and he comes packaged with Laserbeak and Ravage. And he's not branded as an Earthrise figure, but you know, he was in Earthrise, so we all know he's an Earthrise figure. So on the side, I have to say, I think this is my favourite piece of artwork yet. Soundwave is my favourite figure. He's my joint favourite with Shockwave. I love those two characters. So getting this gorgeous artwork, just yeah, love it, absolutely love it. Love the way he's looking down as if he's going, you are inferior, and he's probably right, in my case anyway. And on the back we have all your product shots and guff as usual. I have bought the other one downstairs with me, the Siege Soundwave. I do have Laserbeak and Ravage as well, so we can compare them and see if there's much in the way of difference. And then on this side we've got the artwork in monochrome, the Earthrise artwork. Usual stuff on the bottom, and Transformers more than meets the eye on the top with an Autobot logo for reasons. So that's it for the box. I will pop him open and we'll take a closer look at the figure. Right, so here's everyone out of the box, and yeah, I'm a happy bunny. Right, let's have a look at the stuff that comes in the box. So you get the instructions, and they're nicely done. I mean, they're instructions, but you know, they look good. You get this same piece of artwork that was on the box, but now it's on the card back. So yeah, I do like these. I think these look really nice. So is that. And obviously you get Laserbeak and Ravage, and then you get this, you basically get the same weapons that you got with the Siege one. So there's this fold out rifle jobby, and then his hand cannon, or handgun I should say. Just pull that bit out, so that's that. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I do appreciate that Laserbeak and Ravage came with Soundwave this time, and I didn't have to hunt them down like I did the last two. I'm just grateful that they came in the first wave of Siege Micromasters, because after that we didn't get any more in the UK. None at all. I haven't seen them anywhere. So yeah, otherwise I'd be hunting around for them too. So right, let's take a look then. So let's start with the weapons, and I'll just bring in the Siege Soundwave weapons so we can take a look at the difference. So let's start with the foldy outy win every time. So this is the Siege one, and this is the Earthrise one, and the mould is, as expected, exactly the same. The only difference here is that for the Siege one, it's moulded in a light grey plastic, and for the Earthrise one, it's more of a silvery plastic. But otherwise, it's pretty much identical. So there's that. Up to the side. For the laser gun, I'm sure this has a proper name, but I don't know it. Sorry. I mean, I love Soundwave, but I really don't know the correct usage, the correct names of all the weapons in the show. So, come on. So the Earthrise one is on the top and the Siege one is on the bottom, and really the only difference is a slight variation in the blue of the plastic and the red stripes around the Siege one, here and here. And there's a slight difference in the actual front part as well. I think maybe I just don't have this pulled out far enough. Ah, there we go, I didn't have it pulled out far enough. So that's that. Otherwise, doesn't seem to be any difference in the two weapons at all. So that's that. Obviously he can hold these, so he can hold that, and it's got a very tight grip as well actually, which is very good to see, given how many of them have been awful. So you can hold those. I don't personally use this one, but obviously I do use this one. So there's that. Shoulder cannon wise, let's just bring in the other one. Again, yeah, there's not really very much difference. Let's try and keep this the right way. There's a slight bit of difference in the colour of the peg, but that goes the same for the fold out rifle. There's that red stripe once again. Nothing really other than that. I'll leave that off for now because we'll get to transformation shortly. As for the figure itself, let's take a closer look and then we'll do some comparisons. Let me move Soundwave out of shot and we'll concentrate on the Ravage and Laserbeak for the minute, I think. So let me bring in the Siege ones. There's Siege Ravage, there's Siege Laserbeak, and I have to admit, let me just sort this out slightly. I have to admit, I did not think there was going to be a great deal of difference in these guys, but there actually is. I think we'll see it more in the cassette tape mode, but for now, let's just have a look here. Now, so we've got the Earthrise on the top, and we've got the... I'm sorry, I was slightly distracted there. Yeah, we've got the Earthrise on the top, and we've got the Siege on the bottom. As you can see, there's some definitely differences in coloration. The paint apps are different, and the reason I was distracted is I hadn't noticed it, but on the Siege version you see Ravage's mouth there, it's closed, but on the Earthrise version they've actually taken the time to remold that so that his mouth is open, and I was not expecting that level of detail on these little figures, so I'm very impressed with that, very impressed. It takes quite a lot to impress me these days, Hasbro, so well done. So that's the top there. Again, you can see the differences in the paint. I mean, I would say that the mould is exactly the same, but that's thrown me now that I was noticing that mouth difference. So that's the side there, and you can see on the Earthrise one there are hints there of a cassette mode. So yeah, bottoms are the same, and I believe, yeah, the undersides are pretty much the same as well. So that's Ravage, and now let's have a look at Laserbeak. So how were we doing this? Yeah, let's put Earthrise on the left and Siege on the right, and yeah, you can see there's quite a bit of difference here as well, especially in the head there. They've resculpted the heads on both of these, which I think is fantastic, because the Earthrise Laserbeak now does look like Laserbeak, or rather more of an Earth type Laserbeak. I mean, not that I didn't like the Siege one, because I did. I do. I think it's a really nice little Laserbeak. But yeah, you can see that they've changed it up quite a bit there. So that's good. Let's get in for those faces a bit more. And yeah, you can see there they've resculpted that entire head section, so that's really good. That's really nice to see. I was genuinely just expecting these to be repaints of the Siege ones, so I'm really happy to see that they've taken the time and actually done some remoulding, so that's brilliant. So that's that. Pretty much the same underneath. So yeah, that's really good actually. I'm really happy with that. That's really nice to see that they've actually bothered to take the time and change those. So let's get these out, and then let's have a look at Soundwave himself, because that's what we all want to see, right? Right. And he looks magnificent. He really does. He looks stunning. He looks like Soundwave, and he's got the right coloured eyes. So I'm happy. I know it's not a big deal, but I've always preferred the red eyes. I don't care for the toys having the yellow eyes personally. It's not a massive deal. It's not going to stop me from buying a Soundwave figure. I just prefer the red. And these light pipe like crazy. I don't know how well you can see it here, but if I put my finger there, oh, that's really good. And that's with a light source pointing at him. So with a light source behind him, it's really magnificent. So, let's do the comparisons first, and we'll get that out of the way. And then we'll get to the transformation, articulation, and all that stuff. So let's bring in the Siege. So as you can see, generally, they're very similar. There is a lot of moulding differences though, I have to say, a lot. I would say that a good 70-80% of this figure, if not maybe more, has been remoulded, because it is effectively a completely different figure. Obviously he transforms differently because he transforms into a completely different piece of equipment. The Siege one is supposed to be the spaceship mode, which I'm not massively keen on. I don't think it really pulls it off very well, but I get the reasoning. And then you've got that secret lamppost mode, and obviously the Earthrise is meant to represent his G1 self. So they've had to remould a lot. I don't really see a great deal. I think the forearms, or rather the upper arms, this part is new. The head sculpt is the same, it's just the different lights. This is different. The upper arms are the same. The forearms appear to be the same. Not seeing a great deal of difference there except for the paint apps. The waist section, right, I should really go to here, shouldn't I? This section, the front section, yeah, even the inside is slightly remoulded. No, I tell a lie, the inside is the same, it is the same there. The front door panel is the same, but the surrounding is different. So yes, they've done that. Obviously there's differences on the back there because of the transformation, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let me see, this skirt section, that's the same, but the crotch section is different. There's more moulding on the Siege one. The upper legs are different, the knees are different, the lower legs are different, the feet are the same. Let's see from the side. Yeah, even the side panels there are different, probably due to the differences in transformation. Around the back, I mean, obviously the biggest difference here is the fact that he doesn't have this backpack. So, yeah, I don't know if there's any difference underneath that. Trying to flip that down without fully transforming. I think that's different as well because of the backpack. I haven't transformed that in a while, so... so that appears to be different. Obviously this piece is different here because you've got the buttons for the cassette mode. The flaps on the back are different. Sorry, the same. So yes, it seems like they have remoulded a big chunk of this figure. They've really gone in well on it. So I have to say, I can see where the money went on this set. I'm not... Oh, and the hands are the same. I'm not looking at this set going, oh, it's basically just a repaint of the Siege one. I, you know, paid what I paid for it. No, there is a lot of differences in this figure, and I'm really happy with that. So I have to say thank you to Hasbro for actually making the effort with this figure. Right, so now that we've talked about the differences, let's have a look at his articulation, and it is pretty much the same, I'll be honest, really not much different going on there. So his head is on a ball joint, so it will rotate, and you can get a little bit side to side, which I think is ideal in a Soundwave figure. His arms will go all the way around, out to the side. It's very stiff as well, this figure, which is good. He has a double joint at the elbow. No articulation at the wrist because of the way he transforms. He does have a waist rotation. He can kick out, if you move the skirt, all the way to the front. And likewise, if you move the skirt back, he will kick out all the way to the back. Again, very, very stiff joints. He can do the splits and a bit. He does have thigh rotation, about 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and his feet move ever so slightly front and back. It's not really very much, but they do have a tilt. So overall, he is pretty well articulated. So, I think we've covered the robot mode, so let's get into transformation. Just before I do get into the transformation, I did forget to mention that he does have this same flip down weapon pieces that the Siege one had. I think that's mainly because they just decided to use these arm pieces. They must have just left it on in the mould for, I don't know, maybe it was cheaper to leave it on. So yeah, I don't use them, I don't care for them, but I can understand why they're there. Right, so what you want to do then is flip up the fists like so. Let's bring those arms out a minute. You want to rotate the top half of the body, flip this back panel down, and his head pops in there. Flip that back up, and then you can see here, if you just fold this piece out, there's a large tab there that just goes in a hole there, so you need that out like that, and then you do the same the other side. You need to rotate the lower arms like so, and then those same tabs will just pop into these slots here. Not the same tabs, apologies, not the same one. The ones on the arms, I should have said, like so. And then you're going to clip these two pieces together. You can see there's a hole there and a tab there. And they go in like so. And that is basically the entire difference in the transformation. The lower half of the transformation is very similar to the Siege. So you come to the back, and then you lift this panel up, flip the foot in, fold this piece out and then bring the whole lot over, and that will just hold in there. Yeah, mine is a little bit finicky. And then you do the same on the other side. If you can get the panel up, there we go. And the panel down, like so. And then you need to rotate the legs, like so. That's still come out a bit. Oh, there we go. And then you fold the whole thing up, and there is a tab here which will go into that slot there, and that's the same on both sides. Like so. And then the last thing to do is flip up this panel, and then you flip out these two smaller panels from behind. And then there is a long tab here that will tab in here, and it's the same the other side. That just goes in like so. Oop. Try not to pop the arms out. And that is basically it. That is basically your cassette mode. What you do with these other pieces, you can fold the rifle back up and push this part of the gun in, and then bring in the other piece, and then just very similar to, I mean, every other Soundwave figure, these just store on the back. So it just goes in the hole there. Oop, chuck it about. That one goes in there. And then, I'm not sure if that will go in there. Yeah, or you can just put it in one of those. And that is Soundwave, oops, in his cassette mode. And I think it looks really good. I don't think it's the best Soundwave, but I think it's probably the best Soundwave that we've had in recent years that isn't a third party and isn't a masterpiece figure. I think it does the cassette mode pretty well. It's got all the hallmarks of Soundwave, you know, I mean, everything is there. It's, yeah, it's good. I like it. I think it looks really nice. The back is a bit untidy, but, you know, it's a 40 quid figure, and you do get the little guys as well, so right, let's have a closer look then. So you do have the classic L and R on the top, so that's nice, a little bit of speaker action going on. And then you've got all the buttons there at the front, little record battery slot there, which is quite good actually, because they've put it around where the pin goes, so it kind of hides the pin on that side. That's quite good. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a great deal to see here. Basically, it's, you know, it's just the bits you didn't see in robot mode, which effectively are the insides of the legs and this panel that is his butt flap. On the top, obviously, you've still got this button here that opens the drawer, the flip down front. So there's that. Honestly, it's been ages since I played a cassette. I can't even remember what that bit's called. The deck. Yeah. And it's just like the legs folded up there, and the bits at the back, and that's the underneath. So yeah, I think it folds up quite well. I mean, unless you're displaying him on a shelf that way around or at a strange angle, I think that's a decent cassette tape mode, cassette deck mode rather, I should say, Walkman. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. The colourings are nice as well. Maybe they could have just given the feet just on the outside, maybe. Oh, actually, all the way around would have been nice. Just a coat of paint in this silver, that would have finished it off. but beggars can't be choosers. So that's that. I think the next thing to do is to bring in Laserbeak and Ravage, and we'll get those transformed. Alright, let's bring in Ravage and Laserbeak, and let's do Ravage first. Let's move Laserbeak out of the way. So, okay, so you'll want to flip down the head, like so, and you want to rotate these pieces, flip this whole bit down, and then it's just going to rotate. Hold on, flip the legs out. Oh, I can never get this done properly. I know I'm doing it incorrectly, but I always manage to muck it up somehow. So flip the legs back up like so, and you bring in the rear legs first, and the front legs will just flip over, and there's a little notch there. That's in a foot, and that tab goes into like so, and that is cassette mode. And there is a more elegant way of doing that, but I can never work it out. So so that's that. And Laserbeak is much simpler. I mean, not that that's complicated, I just somehow always draw a blank on it. So you just need to flip this piece back and over like so. Bring the head down and around, flip that into that gap there. Bring the wings in like so, and just bring the little feet down like that, and that's Laserbeak's mode. So let's bring in Soundwave again, and we'll do the comparisons. So here's Soundwave and his mode there, his cassette mode. And that is the Siege Soundwave. Let's just get those both in. And yeah, I mean, you can see there's a big difference there with the two of them, because obviously this is meant to be that sort of spaceship mode, which I never really got, to be honest. I think they could have done something a little bit better than that. It doesn't really make any sense, you know. Soundwave's never been a spaceship. I mean, even in whatever Bayverse film it was, I can't remember which one it was, when he's a satellite, he's still not a spaceship, he's a satellite. So I don't know what they were thinking with that. But of course, I mean, there's no real comparison between the two, because their robot modes are almost identical, but obviously they were going for different things here with the alt modes. So, but I just brought it in because, you know, it's Soundwave, so you've got to do the comparisons, haven't you? So that's that. But I think more interestingly, for me anyway, is the comparisons between the mini bots, the cassette bots, because you've got Siege Laserbeak here, and the Earthrise Laserbeak on the left, and they've definitely changed up the paintwork. The moulding is the same. Refocus there. Yeah, the moulding is the same, but the paintwork is quite a bit different. I mean, there's nothing really different on the back. It is just the front. But yeah, at least they made an effort, is what I'm saying. So there's that. And more strikingly is Ravage, because they've really gone for the tape look here. I mean, if you're younger than about 30 and you've never seen a cassette tape, yeah, they didn't really look like this, but it has some nods. I mean, you can clearly see that they've got the spool holes here, and they've got the 60 minutes up here, and there's this nice little piece down here as well, which I thought was quite good. Actually, at first, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, they've printed the you know, the warnings and that, and who it's made by. They printed it on the wrong side, but it's not. It's just they've put that there because you know, cassette tapes. Quite a lot of them used to come from Japan. So yeah, so I think they've tried with that, and I think it looks pretty good. It's, you know, it's definitely more cassette-like than the Siege one. So yeah, I think that's really nicely done. And of course you can put these inside of Soundwave. So let's see if they fit any better, because I know with my Siege one they keep getting stuck in there. Yeah, it's still a bit tight. Yeah, this is what I have to do with my Siege one. Let's try putting it in the other way up. See if it's any better that way. Oh yeah, it's better that way. Of course. So that's that. And let's try Laserbeak. Yep. And of course, the Siege ones will work. Oh, well, if you put it the right way up anyway. Otherwise it sticks less. So yeah, so that works. Still sticking. Still sticking. So yeah, there you go. So they will work. But they do still stick. At least my ones do anyway. So yeah, I think that's about it. Do I have anything else to cover? I don't think I do. Overall, do I think it's worth the money? Yeah, actually I do. I didn't think that I would, but with the remoulding of Laserbeak and Ravage's head, and the amount of remoulding that they've done for Soundwave himself, I think the price is more or less justified. It was £40 here in the UK. I'm not sure what price it is in other countries. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad. The Siege Soundwave was 24, and then you had to pay another 10. Yeah, it was £10. £12, £10 or £12 for Laserbeak and Ravage separately. So 34, 5, 6. You're only paying an extra sort of £4 to £6. So yeah, I think that's pretty good, you know. So yeah, I would, if you can get hold of one of these and you are a G1 Soundwave fan, then I think this is definitely a set worth picking up if you can find one. Like I said at the top of this review, yeah, had it not been for Optimus Prime, I may not have got one. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have got one at some point, but I probably would have had to have paid way more, because they're going for silly money on eBay. They really are. So big thanks again to Optimus Prime for picking this up for me. Definitely worth getting. But I think that's about all I have to say. So as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Fingers on plastic.